Hey yo, let's
Hey
go.
yo!
Let's go. So what are we doing in this podcast?
Babe, we're doing PowerPoints. I'm so excited. I personally am having an adult beverage. Did you get yours?
I forgot mine.
Go, 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 run! While he's gone, we're thinking about going in a new direction in which it just becomes my podcast and it's just me talking to myself because Caleb was unprepared today. Usually I'm lenient with such things, but today I will not allow it. Because you know why? Women's rights! I'm just kidding. So my drink today is Malibu, peach schnapps, strawberry lemonade, splash of mango nectar. It's delicious and delectable. And I can't taste the alcohol, which rocks. To add on to that, I got a new shirt. It says Amy Winehouse on it, and it's Betty Boop. So what's the deal with airline food? Pretty bad. I don't know. I'm just trying to entertain the people. Oh, I hear him. Here he comes. There he is.
Hi. Sorry about that.
Oh, don't worry. I was keeping the people entertained.
What were you entertaining them with?
Oh, nothing. Just some jokes.
Were they funny?
Maybe.
Okay. Did you explain what we were? Oh wait, I guess you did before I left.
Half explained it.
Yeah.
We each decided to attempt to make the other person laugh with a PowerPoint. I think mine is funny.
Okay, wait, is this should we try not to laugh kind of version where we try not to laugh, or can we just laugh whenever? Because I feel like I'm just gonna be laughing throughout.
Yeah, I feel like we're both just gonna be laughing because I know that I giggle and hee hee and ha ha and whatnot. So are you drinking Coronas? Is that your drink of choice today?
Yeah, right now I can show a little cooking.
Oh, we're
don't mind my bed. It's
we're all minding it. Everyone's minding it. Everybody minds Philip's bed.
Shut up. But I'm cutting some lemons for the lime, so that is why my camera is really shaky right now, because I'm not doing it on the best of surfaces. What drink are you drinking for tonight?
I just told them that I was drinking Malibu coconut rum mixed with peach schnapps, strawberry lemonade, and a splash of mango nectar.
Damn, that sounds really good.
It honestly is really good. It's not too strong, but it's also not it doesn't feel like I'm drinking all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So do you want to go? Wait, I feel like, okay, let me preface, because I told you before the podcast started, but I think I need to tell the podcast. I procrastinated a little bit, and I was working on my presentation, but I accidentally took a nap a little bit after I started, and it was a little bit too long, so I wasn't able to get it finished. But for comedic, I feel like that what I have is still really funny. And I feel like for comedic relief, like you said earlier, I feel like it would be really funny if we just kept it how it is now.
Yeah, do you want to go first then? Or would you prefer that I went first? Mine's just longer than yours is the only thing.
I'm just thinking for comedic purposes, would it be funny if I started first or if you started first?
You go first.
Okay.
For comedic purposes.
Okay. Let me share my screen. I may have to run down and get a bottle opener, but I will present first.
No worries. Take your time, King.
Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. Okay.
Ever? Ever?
So why Johnny Depp is the best actor? This is presented to you by Amber Curd.
Can I ask you a question? Why is that a question? It's why Johnny Depp is the best actor?
It's up for you to decide. All right, so this is my semi-serious slide. He started as a musician. He wanted to do that for the rest of his life, but he couldn't make any money because he was an ass musician. That's why he's the best actor, not the best musician in the world. His first role was a Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984. I mean, look at him. He's a freaking stud already, and this is his first freaking film. Look what a handsome lad that is. And after his premiere, he was able to it was just an instant success. That's like, how many actors say that? Like their first movie was an instant success, instant classic. Like not many can say that. But he was able to be more financially stable because after this first role, he was able to get more. Fun fact. He was the lead on Pirates of the Caribbean. Not many people know this. But I think this is probably one of his best movies that he was in, and probably hands down the best Disney series, if not of all time. And he a runner, and he a track star. And then that end. That's all you need to know.
It's like 2 seconds long. Also, fun facts, he was in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Look, okay. I feel like I feel like, wait, no, I don't want to stop. I feel like my presentation has a lot of potential, and
Great.
next week, if I could like start off if we could start off, or a couple weeks from now, if we could start off the podcast with my finished like presentation, because I feel really bad for not doing it. Would that be possible? Or
Yeah, I'll allow it.
all right, cool. I'll keep it under 5 because I wanted to add a few more slides to it.
Honestly, it was so funny just the way it was. Fun fact.
Okay, I'm so excited to see yours.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Right. Caleb had so many spelling errors in that. That's one of the reasons I'm laughing. His whole presentation was like 10 seconds long, and like 90% of it was spelled incorrect. That's really funny. I'm so sorry. That's really funny to me. Oh my god. I need a drink.
Okay. I'm being such a bad co-host right now. I'm so sorry for that.
No, it's okay. I'm keeping the people entertained.
All right, cool.
I just cried. I laughed so hard.
Okay. I feel like mine was short and sweet, but I really want to see yours now.
Okay. Share my screen.
Dude.
All right.
Oh wow, this is an exciting presentation.
Thank you. I did that so you couldn't see the title card before I started.
Wait, how do you do that?
Just added a bunch of like extra pages that I didn't need. All right. Okay, just kidding. That's not how I change it. Is being gay, please. By me. Yeah. So as you see here, I've got RuPaul, I've got Parade, Lady Gaga, and the cast of Glee. I didn't come out until college. So I wanted to highlight some of the milestones in my coming out journey.
Ooh, okay.
Things I did that should have been a dead giveaway. Theater. The way I spelled that damn word. I once did 4 community theater shows in 1 year. No, I can help you with your makeup. I was a cheerleader. Enough said. It's the most homoerotic shit other than figure skating. It's the gayest sport you can do. Not to mention I was on a Catholic school cheerleading team.
Bro, that's the
which made it even gayer.
No wonder you didn't come out at a Catholic school.
True. I didn't understand Disney men. I wasn't attracted to any of them. They all kind of look the same to me. They all kind of have a stupid little haircut. They all kind of look like middle-aged lesbians to me.
Honestly, yeah. I'd never realized that, but they all look goofy as fuck though, too.
They are all goofy. Like, these were the men I was supposed to be in love with? No! They ugly. These 2 images. See right here, my limp wrist. And me right here with all this layering going on. Girl, what? I played the violin. That was not very good.
Oh, I thought that was a guitar.
You thought that was women forced them on to me. You're not. Okay. We do not send our Valerie in this home. It's everyone's hypothetical mom.
Yes.
Kate McKinnon from SNL. This is what she normally looks like. This is what she looked like in the Ghostbusters movie reboot. It was the best part about the Ghostbusters reboot. Not to mention she's hysterical. She played Ruth Bader Ginsburg, this woman who keeps getting abducted by aliens and they just do fuck shit to her. And this lady. Emily Prentice from Criminal Minds. She was kind of mean to everybody, and I was kind of like, that's cool.
I want to be mean to everyone.
Alice from Twilight.
I was waiting for this one. I was waiting. What is she going to make an appearance? She
is queer identity. She is beauty. She is grace. This is a new one. Sid the Kid from the internet. Gorgine, gorgeous, beautiful human being. There's no jokes here. She's just hot.
Who is this? I've never seen this person in my life.
They're in a band called The Internet that used to be with Steve Lacy. Just rocks, really good.
Ooh, I think I've heard about the internet before.
Titus really likes them, so probably.
Fuck Titus.
Annie Lennox. This is a singer from late 80s and 90s. When I would go with my dad to his school, he would let us go in the computer lab and watch music videos, and I would only watch Annie Lennox music videos. That bitch from Atlantis.
Oh like, my god.
Come on. Just look at her. That other bitch from Atlantis. Look at her. What? That other bitch from Atlantis. Come on.
Bro, I forgot about all these characters. What the fuck?
They're all bad as fuck.
Yeah.
Helena Bonham Carter. I just wanted to be her, and I wanted to be with her. Love her.
To the end
Carrie
of time.
Brownstein of Sleater-Kinney and Portlandia. Probably the love of my life. If she asked me to, I'd do anything for her. Carrie Brownstein and a guitar. I want her to play me like a guitar. She's Gorgine. Carrie Brownstein in drag. Very everything for me. Didn't know what I was up to. Thank you, everybody. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Was that a good presentation?
That was an amazing presentation. I think that deserved all the stars.
Thank you.
All right, so that was
So that was that.
that was really fast, wasn't it?
Yeah, let's debrief. You got any
Wait.
questions?
So gay is a choice?
Yes.
I always wondered that. I just never want to ask because I'm like,
No, I decided
Yeah.
in college.
oh,
because
okay.
I thought it would make me more interesting.
Is that how most those gay people start out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't want to live like normal lives where they wouldn't be bullied all the time. Where they would. So, came out, of the closet.
That makes sense.
While I was making this, I realized like so many like little signs from when I was younger that I was like, come on. Like everybody also knew other than me. It was so annoying.
Like even your parents and stuff?
Not my parents. My parents didn't know, but a lot of my friends were like, are you?
Excuse me? I think
you are well, because like at least for me from a young age, I was quote unquote boy crazy because I was like overcompensating because I was very uncomfortable sometimes. Like I was like, no, I just really like her. I just think she's really, really cool. Yeah, a lot of people knew before me. I mean, when we first met, did you think I was gay?
I want to be honest.
Word.
No. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I can present straight. Word.
I'm not going to lie, my gaydar for at least lesbians is not that strong.
It's okay. I think it's hard to tell, and I mean so much of gaydar is like based on stereotypes, so like props to you, man. I came out like around Valentine's Day of my freshman year, so right before the pandemic. So it's not even like I could be like, I may also be interested in women, and like do anything about it is the wrong word, but be more open about it, like was kind of limited because of the pandemic and because of my selective outedness. So I came out to friends first and then family, because I was just like really confused for the longest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How could your friends when you were younger like tell?
I don't know. I think a lot of people just assumed I was in a huge arts community, and a lot of people who participate in the art that I participate in are queer to some extent. And I just used to do like a lot of things. I'd be like, oh, those guys are looking at us. We should probably hold hands so they think we're lesbians and won't try and hit on us. Well, hold hands? Hold hands sounds cool. Like just like stupid stuff like that, where like looking back now, it's like I feel bad for her. Like someone love her. Like, but now I'm kind of like, yeah, it's cringe as fuck. Like
I mean, you were little, like I feel like that's more cute than cringy.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna tell myself that. Yeah, there were just like lots of signs maybe that I was like uncomfortable in straight presenting relationships too. But again, like even the way that I label myself has changed since we started this podcast. Like when we started, I said I was bi, I use she, her pronouns, all that stuff. Since then, I now identify better with she, they pronouns and with the label queer as opposed to bisexual. And I'm in a lesbian relationship currently, which like prior to our podcast starting was like not even like something that maybe even crossed my mind.
I was just about to ask you that because I feel like we don't really talk about this too often too. And the last time that we kind of talked about it, you were saying at the start of the podcast, you were saying like you were bi and stuff. And I was just wondering if your stand or if you changed from that point on, from like kind of evolved your like sexuality more from that point in time.
Yeah, so I think all of the feelings were there at that time, but I don't know if I had the vocabulary and the courage to verbalize them. This is taking my very funny thing and like talking about something very serious, but I think that's kind of cool.
Mhm.
I think that bisexual, there has been discourse about how sometimes it relies too heavily on the binaries of gender, assuming that there are only two genders, which, I mean, we know now that there's not.
Mhm.
And bi means two, so it's being attracted to men and women. It almost excludes that other that exists. Do I think that bi means that? No. Like, I think it's a lot more inclusive than a lot of people want to do it, like, or want to at least say that it does, because they're relying so heavily on the grammatical issues with the word rather than what it represents.
Mhm.
Um, but the label queer to me feels more freeing than that, in the same way that she they to me feels more inclusive than she her to me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, also queer was a term that was used for a really long time to put down gay identifying people or lesbian identifying people or anyone on that kind of spectrum area identifier list. And it's a reclamation of that word, which also sometimes rubs people the wrong way because they feel as though, because it's been such an oppressive thing for so long, that it shouldn't be used as a label. But I think there's kind of a beauty in that reclamation, in that it's all inclusive, and there's like a almost like a rebirth of it. Yeah.
That's really cool. Do you think is this your first, I forget if you said this earlier, but is this your first lesbian like relationship?
I have been on dates with women prior, and I dated someone prior who was a female identifying person, but this is my longest standing lesbian relationship.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you think that's made you more comfortable with your sexuality more, or
Yeah, because I remember going out in public, so like earlier on, and when I came out, with someone who either presented as the same gender as me or were in a female identifying body, um I was very uncomfortable, and I was like nervous to like even do something so little as holding hands, opening a door, stuff like that, because um maybe societal expectations where I grew up, stuff like that. It's a lot better in Philadelphia than other areas, but I have experienced some rather hateful things regardless of where I am. You can be in the most progressive city and still suffer, like have issues like that, because especially as to more female presenting bodies, there's an overt sexualization of that relationship immediately. Because I know there was like a whole issue with this on YouTube. I don't know if you heard about this. A lot of people were tagging like actual videos where they spoke about women and women relationships and lesbian relationships, and they were getting flagged because people looked at the word lesbian and automatically like associated it with porn.
so what?
Well, there's something about queer people and some sort of sexualization of the nature of relationships because it's something outside of what people are quote unquote comfortable with, but there's something even more sinister about it if it is two female people,
Yeah, that
which sucks, but it's the truth of it all.
that's a like side note too, to like go off on that. That's like the shitty side of YouTube as well, because I never really realized this, or like I never really heard of this either. But like if people put in like trans, gay, anything like lesbian within like a title of a YouTube video, just like anything in that realm too. And it's like it goes like there's other words too, like Islam or like
Yeah,
Muslim and stuff, any like Muslim, etc. too. But if anything's that in the description or the title or the thumbnail, it would automatically get flagged because it YouTube's AI system where they track and like how they track and flag videos on YouTube, they recognize those terms as controversial. So they want to flag like quote unquote controversial, even though it it probably is just like someone telling their story or just
Yeah.
there's so many other topics that aren't controversial about it, but with
Well,
YouTube's AI, it automatically tags it as controversial.
yeah, and it's this understanding of, and almost like, I have this very easy. I am a white person. I have by no means understand the experiences of trans people of color and people who have been queer longer than I in places where it's not as safe to be queer. But it's hard to separate one's own identity from a political ideology because of the overt politicization of female bodies, queer bodies, and people of color. Because no matter what you do, it can be misconstrued as some kind of political statement, or she can do this even though she's a woman, or even though she's a person of color, or even though she comes from so and so's like circumstances, or whatever it may be. Some things are viewed like on a society level as innately political, which sucks because it's just existence for some, but it's some kind of argument or legislation for somebody else.
It's everything's so political too, and men are stupid.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, everything is political, but these things should not be political.
Yes.
Which just is a whole other thing to tackle. But yeah, like, and like I said, I have it a lot easier than most people because I live in America, where certain things are, nothing is perfect here by any means, but I have a lot more freedom than people who don't live here or have religious, like, what's the term I'm looking for?
Freedom?
Not, it's the opposite.
No.
Religious constraints on certain things or political constraints on certain things. Like there's some places where it's illegal to be gay, and like that's insane.
You can get killed in some countries too for
You can
being
get
gay as
killed in
well.
some countries, yeah.
But yeah, I hate how everything's political. I hate that how that is, but and also that shouldn't discredit your struggles too, by all means either, because you still struggle too with like hate as you were saying before, but like what kind of, you don't have to like say anything particular, but like what kind of hate were you like receiving or like comments and stuff?
Like verbal stuff. I've never been like physically attacked or anything. There's dirty looks, there's people making very sexualizing things about me and my partner. Just like when we're walking, which like sucks, or making comments about possibly being like a quote unquote third, which is weird.
What does that mean?
It's like when somebody makes sexual advances on both you and your partner, like I want to be your third, or like,
Oh, okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of the sexualization of women who like women. You guys should kiss, stuff like that. Stupid, gross stuff. Which in and of itself isn't necessarily a violent thing, but it can very quickly become a violent thing. And I know that it has for a lot of my queer friends, especially a lot of my trans friends, because there's sexuality and there's sexualization, and the two do not go hand in hand. Because there's a difference of who you are romantically attracted to, or even who you're sexually attracted to, whatever it may be, and people then taking advantage of that or inserting themselves in those situations, where I don't really find that a lot with straight people, at least.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, I'm like the least. I'm the person everyone hates because like I'm a straight white male. Like I literally have the only thing that I have going for me is that I'm not old. So,
Awesome. No,
but
you're very good about this stuff because you want to learn. There's people who like genuinely do not care. I
yeah.
think that's the thing.
Mhm. And I feel like I don't want to freaking like toot my own horn or whatever, but like I feel like when you are a straight like white male and you don't fit into like any of the minority settings too.
Mhm.
I feel like the most you can do is just like listen and just and
Yeah.
understand if that makes sense. Like the situation. I know I'm just bad at wording and stuff and
No, I agree with what you're saying.
but like I just like I can never know or like I can never feel how it feels to be in that community or in the gay community too and just living like day to day because it is such like a different perspective that I will never like understand because like I'm not going through it myself, you know?
Yeah, no, that tracks. But I think a willingness to learn is the best you can do, and it is what you are doing. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. But I never realized that you got comments like that too,
Oh yeah. I
which
mean,
is like ignorance on my side too. But I thought like since we are in like the city of Philadelphia, it would be like more open too. But like I work at Chickies and Pete's too as a food runner, and that like in the servings business, that opened my eyes of how many shitty people there are in the world, especially in like Philadelphia too. And then that just like furthers the point of even though we may live in like a city, there's still a shit ton of shitty people, which is a shame.
yeah. And I mean, being gay is nothing new. People have been gay for
Thousands of
as
years.
long as the earth has been turning, because at the end of the day, it's not a choice, and it's as much as I want to make a joke about it, it's not, and it's nothing new. But the issues within the healthcare system, within politics, within legislation, within just existing day to day, I guess, have been more like coming to light more. But like I can't even say that. It's been like 100 years, maybe like 70 years since like some of the serious movements have been happening. But it's gonna take so much more for anything actual to happen. Like gay people can get married. Awesome, party. But like that's not like that should be the bare minimum.
Yeah, like what is that shit? And I feel like it's a generational thing too.
And
Like,
schools can decide whether or not they want to teach about these things, or teach about gender, or teach about sex or sexual identities and all that stuff, which leads, I mean, at least to me, the Catholic school system did me a great disservice. Like, had I been exposed to some of these things earlier, I probably would have understood myself a whole lot better. And it wouldn't have been so confusing existing all the time with like all these weird feelings and not sure where to put them. And if I put them where I wanted to, some threat of hell or hellfire or whatever it is, like
mhm.
it, I don't know. Like maybe it was just Catholic school. Maybe it's better in some other places, but I don't know if that's true. With all like the don't say gay bills being passed and um people being forcibly detransitioned in some states, like that's terrifying.
Wait,
Have
that
you
actually happens? Wait, how's
Yes, they perform medical procedures on people to detransition them.
how is that legal?
because it's up to state legislature.
Okay, so
I
that's legal, but abortions are illegal. How does that make any sense at all?
Not illegal yet, but man, I don't even know.
Yeah,
That shit is fucking terrifying.
yeah. But I was gonna say something, but I forget what I was going to say. Licia, what was I gonna say?
I don't know, babe.
Wait, what were we talking about
Do you
before?
have a question about my pronouns? Do you know what she they means?
I vaguely have an idea of it, but I just never really had like an actual conversation or a long conversation about it. I kind of like been piecing it together here and there.
Yeah.
But I've never talked to someone about it. So I don't fully understand.
Yeah. So it's something I was kind of new to a few months ago, but it just started to feel a lot better. I do believe that I was born in the correct body. I don't think that I'm meant to be a boy, but I don't know if I fully identify with girl either. I think there are more feminine qualities about me than masculine, but I like to recognize the in between. So I put she first and then they because I'm comfortable with people referring to me as either, but it's a recognition of that identity that feels a little confused or doesn't feel like it clicks with she.
Um,
Make sense?
I I think so. So it's well,
Ask any
uh,
questions.
I'm I'm like it. The difficult thing about this, I always get so nervous about like asking questions about like topics like this because like my wording on things are so like I don't know how to articulate sentences. I don't know if that's due to like lack of knowledge on the topic or just like me not just being I can't form like sentences correctly or gather like words if that makes sense to
Yeah.
form correct. But so like with the in between, is that like in between feeling of like he and she is that like a feeling that you've always felt and will like continue to feel, or like if you like let's say a couple years from now like you feel more attached to she her, will you change your pronouns to fit that, or do you think it's like you feel in between so it's going to be like a consistent thing throughout?
I think it's different for everybody. And you've probably heard the phrase gender is a spectrum a lot. Um and I've known people in the past, I mean, including myself, who have changed their pronouns because things feel more comfortable. Um, but I didn't really understand pronouns outside of a trans identity until I got to college. Like that was the first time I had ever really been asked what my pronouns are.
Mhm.
Um, so I think it was a new thing for me to kind of absorb and then move forward from. So I imagine that there will always be this in between, feeling more androgynous and feeling female, but I don't know if I will ever fully be they them. I think I like the flexibility of she they in the same way I like the flexibility of queer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I think a
Yeah.
lot of my gender identity and my sexuality exists in the if this is what I'm interested in or this is how I'm feeling, then I will act accordingly. But I don't know if I necessarily consider myself non-binary. And I
Uh,
think that is up to however each person may identify. I know lots of people who have she, they, he, they, she, they, he, whatever, what have you, who do identify as non binary. But I don't know if I am there yet in my own understanding of what my gender and sexuality is, because I do think it's a process to figure all that stuff out. When I fill out legal documents, I'm going to put woman, because that's how I've identified for 20 years something. The she they thing is very new. I maybe started using that in January, February, something like that. So I'm still kind of figuring out for myself. But I like it for now. So we'll see.
Okay, 2 questions.
Beautiful.
1, how do you feel about labels?
I think here's my best answer to that, because I was talking to somebody else about that. I think labels provide comfort for a lot of people. I think they provide comfort to people who may not understand some things with queer identities, and I think they help people who feel as though they've been born in the wrong body to feel affirmed in those things. So I feel as though people should have the freedom to use labels, but I don't love labels for me, which is why I've loosened up on some things. But I know people who have transitioned and were AFAB, or AFAB means assigned female at birth, or AMAB, vice versa, who like the label of non-binary, or like the label of the opposite gender, or whatever gender they choose to identify as, because it feels comfortable and it feels affirming, and it makes them feel like the identity that they have always wanted is valid. And who am I to say that that's not something worthwhile? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me personally, I like a little bit more flexibility, because I feel like I have a lot of learning and growing to do.
Because the reason why I asked that is because of the learning, from what you're saying about how you're still learning like your genders and your, I guess, kind of your like sexuality or whatnot, maybe not necessarily sexuality, but you're discovering like new things about yourself. And I was just wondering too, because like if like people are like always evolving, then it's kind of, or changing, is I feel like it's kind of hard to put a label on that. Like,
Absolutely.
hard to put on a label if you're learning new things about yourself. And I just think, well, I mean, I'm thinking is that like if people are still learning, if people aren't sure about like their label, quote unquote, then it shouldn't be such a big deal to label. Well, not such a big deal, but like it should just be letting people be.
Exactly.
Just letting people be, and having like it may change. Like it's just I feel like it's an ever changing thing as well too. Because like the person that we are now is definitely not going to be the same person that we are 30 years from now, or 5 years from now, or a year from now,
Yeah.
Like new experiences may change that as well too.
Totally. Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I was asking about the labeling thing too.
Yeah, of course.
I have to burp.
Do it quietly.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say earlier.
Okay.
I like being gay, or like, is a very natural thing, because it's also found in like in other species as well.
Yeah.
Like it's
like it's been happening.
It's been happening. Like I feel like it's one of the most natural things too. It's just like it's happening everywhere, and I don't understand why we have to control that. Just let people be.
People still don't get it. And also, I feel like the way people identify doesn't affect me. So I'm not gonna be like, that's wrong, or that's right.
Just let people be.
Just let people be. Let people rock. I promise you, your God doesn't have a problem with it. think he minds. I think he's just
Yeah.
happy that they're happy.
Yeah, like I feel like religion's just used to further um
Oppress people in
yes,
certain.
because
I think religion can be such a beautiful thing. I was just shown such an ugly side of it that I don't know. I'm struggling with my relationship with religion.
yeah, I just like if God is all loving and loves everyone,
Mhm.
why would he like not love gay people?
Yeah.
Or like a couple hundred years ago, or like even a century ago, like it's still happening now too. Well, not as much in America, but I think it's still happening. But like the excuse for slavery was that it was within the Bible
Oh
too.
no, babe.
It's
Slavery still happening in
yeah,
America. The police
yeah,
system, prisons,
yeah.
insane.
Well, I guess what I meant was that it's not as public as it was.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
feel like it's more hidden and more well covered
Yeah.
than what it used to be. Because I feel like everyone and their mother was like having slaves, you know, like it was just a normal thing to like have slaves in the 1800s, etc. But now it's so fucked up. But like excuse then and still now is that it's written in the Bible, so
So it's
it's
okay.
yeah. But like if God loves everyone, then why would he want you to enslave his own people and ridicule his own people that he created and loved so much?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's dumb. Work. I know this started off really jokey, but I think we talked about some good stuff. I think we talked about some real stuff. Do you have any more questions for me? How do you feel? Enlightened?
I feel like I understand a lot more than what I was. I do definitely want to continue the conversation, but right now I'm blanking on questions because like I always want to continually to learn about this like this subject and just like continually to learn in general as well. For some reason I'm just blanking on questions.
Good. If you were curious, being gay does make you much cooler. Um, really cool.
All the people that I know that are gay are the coolest people that I know.
Um, awesome.
Except for Josh, he's a dick.
Fuck that. Trying to think if I have anything else to add to that.
You were like confused growing up with your
Mhm.
sexuality, right? When was like the moment in time you thought you knew that you're like, all right, like I know for sure that I'm into girls.
Honestly, sophomore year of high school was when I was like peak confusion. I was like, oh my God, I think I like girls. But I had only dated men. And at the time, I had only planned to continue to date men. I felt as though a lot of my relationships with men felt forced and more about presentation than the feelings behind them. I had a boyfriend for nearly 5 years.
That's insane.
That's insane. Who I do think I loved. I loved him a lot. I'm not saying that I'm never attracted to men. I mean, Adam Driver exists. Come on. But there is an ease that comes with, I don't know, my relationships with women. Um, I would say in high school, I developed very strong friendships with women. And when they ended, it felt like a breakup because I feel as though I had invested so much of myself and my feelings into those relationships that all of them were very intense. So when they were great, they were awesome. When they were bad, it was like the world was ending because in some respect, whether or not it was like a romantic love or not, I had developed such a strong bond with whoever that was, that it felt a lot more real to me. I didn't come out until college, and that was because I had began to develop feelings for somebody who I not had been seeing but had met via like school and stuff. But I was like, oh, it's just one girl, just one girl, just one girl. But turns out that's not how that works. Or maybe it is how it works for some people, but that wasn't what it was. And I feel like that was still kind of my brain in denial, that religious trauma, that mindset of this is what I've been doing my whole life, so how can that be wrong? So I had a lot of unlearning to do and a lot of self work I had to do before I could actually pursue relationships with women. But once I had done that, it was so much easier. Because I think, well, I don't want to cry, it's gonna make me sad. There is, when you like know that something is wrong or something doesn't feel right, but you still go through with the motions, it's really confusing because you feel as though all the feelings are there, but something is just not clicking. And at the end of the day, it's just the way that you're brought up. And my family was always like, nobody was homophobic, like nothing like that, but it was strictly the environment I was brought up in outside of the home where being gay didn't feel like a possibility. So you shove all that and you just like pretend it doesn't exist, or you don't even think of it as an option. So then you're just left feeling unsatisfied, or like everybody else gets to feel like this, but I don't, or I don't get it, or I'm not like understanding it. That just feels a lot easier when you come out and you have a good support system. Yeah.
That's really beautiful. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, because no one should go through that in any scenario.
Yeah.
And it just sucks that we live in a society where people have to grow up like that and are forced to not be comfortable with their own skin and their own self, you know?
Yeah.
Do you,
Oh, go ahead.
from like this point on, or from like this point in time, do you think you would ever have a relationship with a man again? Or, well, I mean, of course, like
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I do still find men attractive. Some of y'all are on thin ice. But when I came out, I was like, I'm bi with a male preference. And then I was like, I'm bi, no preference. And now I'm like, I'm queer with a female preference. So, yeah, I can see it happening, but I'm also very happy in the relationship I'm in. And I see it being a more long-term thing than maybe I had initially planned.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, like, obviously this is a hypothetical because you guys are going to get married. Like,
no, never. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I definitely, like, I'm keeping myself open. Whoever's knocking on the door, I'm gonna say hi. Like, and it's not like I've sworn off men, although that would be kind of funny.
honestly, that's probably the
Who could
best.
blame me?
Like I'm a man, and if you freaking swore off man, I'm like, all right, that's the best choice you could possibly make.
Oh my god.
Men are dicks.
Yeah, no. If Adam Driver knocked on my door, I'd consider it.
Do you want me to give him a call? I have his number on.
Literally, Literally, yeah. Tell him I said what's up.
Okay, we'll do. I'll put in a good word for you.
Thanks, gang.
Yeah. Imagine we have him as like a guest.
I would pee my pants. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I love him so much. That's like one of the only men that I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever question whether or not you were straight? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still questioning it.
Word.
But you know, like in high school, I always question it too. Just my sexuality in general too. Because like throughout high school, I was not a sexual person.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have I don't know. I never really like felt a need throughout high school too, and I never really like explored that aspect
Yeah.
of myself just because I wasn't actively exploring like relationships. I wasn't,
Same.
you know, I just wasn't actively like looking for anyone.
Yeah.
And like as college came and stuff, I'm like, I never really thought or explored this option of myself because as I grew up, I'm like, all right, I'm straight.
Yeah.
Like I obviously like I thought that was like a fact. Like I obviously like women. Like that's just like my self narration
Yeah.
and stuff. But like as I throughout high school, as I like didn't go into any relationships and stuff, I'm like, am I straight? Because like I feel like I can, and this is like my biggest struggle now as well too, because as I was starting to explore it, I was starting to like find new stuff about myself. I jumped into the relationship with Janet, and I was like, all right, I'm dating a girl that solves all my problems. Like I'm straight. I'm straight. I'm like, all right, I don't gotta stress about this anymore.
Guys, I figured it out. Don't worry.
Guys, it's all right. I'm dating a girl. It's fine. It's
No, that's really how it is, though.
What was that?
I said that's really how it is, though. I would just date men. I'd be like, I'm attracted to you. I'm straight. And guess what? Not going to hell neither. Like, that's how I felt.
But like this year though, I've been thinking about it and exploring it a lot more too. Just because I've had, and I still am too, and I'm still wondering like about my sexuality too, because throughout high school and even now, I can see myself in a relationship with a man, but it's like I can feel like I can be like emotionally in a relationship with a man. I've never explored the sexual part within that relationship, or like I've never explored that aspect of the relationship, and I'm starting to like explore that aspect now with it and see if I'm bi or if I'm like fully straight, because like I'm open to exploring that aspect of myself.
Yeah.
I'm just confused, man. I
Good.
just I don't know what's happening.
Join the club. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. And I feel bad because one night like on my birthday, I'm pretty sure me, Brendan, and Trey went to Woody's, and I was so sloppy. I drunkenly say that I was bi with no context, with zero context. I was just like, I'm bi. And they were like, what? I'm like, yeah, I was like, I was so confident about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm bi. Yeah, I'm like, they're like, what are you fucking talking about? I'm like, it's up to you, man. But then I had to the next morning, or like the next week after, I'm like, all right, like I have to explain myself. Like, but
I have wondered where I left off last night. Let me tell you a little thing about bisexuality.
but yeah, but like I'm not 100% sure if I'm bi. I'm not 100% sure if I'm straight. I feel like I lean more towards being straight.
Word.
Or yeah, but I'm just, I feel like I'm straight. I don't know. I just have that curiosity aspect to it. I'm still figuring that out about myself.
Here's my hot take. I don't think anyone's straight. I think everyone's a little gay. Because I think sexuality exists on a spectrum. I don't think, because it was funny when I came out to my deadbeat dad. I was like, I'm bi, and he goes, "You both?" And I'm like, yeah, both. You'll be attracted to both. You don't have to choose. This isn't, I don't know, fucking 1800s, bitch. Like,
what do you mean both? Obviously, it's both. You fucking.
I'm like, you were an English teacher. Bi. What is bi? What is
Here. I'll Google it for you. Real second.
Yeah.
Wait.
No. Yeah. I think people get so confused when everyone's always saying, sexuality is a spectrum, gender is a spectrum, but then they don't like take into account the fact that a spectrum isn't two ends, one in the middle. There's like that whole gray scale within the whole thing. Both.
Both. Yes. People are so stupid.
I also think everyone's just a little bit gay. I think it's impossible to be straight. I don't believe in straight people.
I mean,
no, I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
Have you seen this man though?
What man? Yeah, no, he's fine as hell.
Look at him.
He looks old.
Look at this.
He's handsome. He's a handsome guy. He's a handsome guy.
You telling me that I ain't an attractive guy? I don't know who is then.
No, he's handsome. He's very handsome and gorgeous to me. I thought you were trying to kiss the screen of Johnny. I thought that's what you were doing. I think like, hey, John.
I'm figuring out how to open this because I really want the liquid inside of this, but I don't know how to access it.
Do you have a bottle opener?
No, I've been using my bed.
Is that how you got the first one open? Damn.
That's why I was like frantically looking for an edge. And then this. Okay, so this is my strat. This is how we're going to end the podcast.
Did you bring up a steak knife to try and open the bottle?
No, that was for the lime.
Oh my god.
All right. So
honestly, you probably could use the knife.
I was trying to use the knife and I was like, this is a sharp object. I probably shouldn't.
Do you have a lighter? You can use a lighter.
I was thinking about that, but I was like, I don't have a lighter on me. All right. So this is what I was doing.
It's insane.
All right. So there's just like this metal piece here on the bed.
Yeah.
And
it's a bottle opener. Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right. I got it open. See, it's easy as that.
Thank you so much for listening to Kids with Divorce Parents.
Have a good day. Oh fuck, my mouse, Licia. I got. Hold on.
Did you fuck up your mouse?
I got liquid on my mouse, and I can't move my mouse.
I saw your whole body, yada yada. Just went.